Preface, Introduction, and Translator's Poem. From Gems of Chinese Verse. Poems by various authors. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. If you would like more information or would like to volunteer, please see LibriVox.org. Preface. What Keats said to Chapman did for Homer is what Fletcher has done for the poetic realm of old Cathay. There is a freshness and a surprise in these lyric gems. They have been read with keen joy. Having finished, then felt I like some watcher of the skies when a new planet swims into his ken. I am no sinologue and cannot vouch for the accuracy of the translations, but I know this is true poetry. So well has the work been done that I am sure thousands of readers of the Occident as well as of the Orient will rejoice with me over the production of this book of verse, and there will be calls for more from the author. H. L. Hargrove, Ph.D. from Yale. Kaifeng, April 1st, 1918. Introduction. It is not without diffidence that I bring before the public this little collection of verses. A translation can never equal the original any closer than paste can imitate the real gem, and this is particularly true of poetry, wherein the cream and essence of a language finds its highest and most ethereal expression. The flower we can draw, to its coloring art can approach, but who can delineate its scent? And thus it is with these translations. I have usually followed closely the original forms of the poem, frequently keeping their metre, but fear that I have lost much of their nuances and fragile delicacy. But indeed the subject is a difficult one, and I shall be repaid for the labour if the average foreign resident in China can glean from my sifting some further insight into the heart and feelings of the Chinese. If Chinese feel that their masterpieces, even in copies, find interest among their neighbors from far countries, sympathy is the bond of human union. The following translations are all from the Chinese poetry of the Tang Dynasty, 618 to 905 A.D., and it is not a little creditable to Chinese civilization that such refinement of thought should be current at a period when the ancestors of Europe were overrun by German barbarians, and the Scotch had perhaps hardly abandoned cannibalism. The poems are essentially sketches of nature, written by true lovers of China's grand scenery, amid ruins of famous dynasties and the memories of immortal beauties. A strain of Buddhist mysticism adds in places its longing for the unseen, the unseeable. One finds in them the sun, the moon, the stars, and the wind on the heath, brother. There is no clatter, noise, steam, or hurry. The authors float in sailing sampans, noiseless save for the rippling beneath the prow, through scenes peaceful and calm. The white clouds pouring like icing down the mountain sides, the gulls and herons gliding white against the sky, the low boom of a temple gong in some tree-hidden glen, the quiet labors in the plains below, the village smoke curling upward in the temple of nature as placidly as incense spirals about some Buddha's knees, all combine here to form China's great ideal, great charm, peace. The very poems on the subject of war dwell only on its disgust. There's no girding up of the loins to slay, no enthusiasm for destruction, no great greed for wealth or possessions, no social distinctions of caste. There is just human life portrayed in terms of nature. For in the Chinese language there are practically no abstract nouns, and for such the Chinese has borrowed terms from his one great master, nature. Thus love is typified by spring with its wealth of bursting flowers and sweet stirrings of the sap, old age growing upon us by autumn with its falling leaves and sere complexion. Such allegories I have marked with capital letters, that the reader's eye may catch them the sooner. Let him, if he can, imitating the poets of old, float quietly down the broad waters of the Yangtze, through the scenery of the Min, or over the rapids of the Cassia River. Let him in some lone temple see the moon rise over the tree-fringed hills. Let him, like Manfred, seek the iris of the waterfall, or dream amid the relics of some fallen town. Then he will know the value of the Tang poetry. There will he find peace. To Li Po and Tu Fu. Li Po and Tu Fu, pardon that I come, lone nature's pilgrim from a foreign shore, with you across the misty hills to roam, and see the dragons carry you once more to peaks aflame with sunset, to adore in nature's shrine as ye were wont of yore, to see the iris ride the torrent's foam, and ruins where high mansions stood before, the moonbeams glinting on the broken dome, while some shrill flute the fallen times deplore. Forgive the humble heart and feeble thought, the faltering fingers that the echo wrought of your sweet woodland lore. W. J. B. Fletcher, Fu Chao, 1917. End of preface, introduction, and translator's poem. The Old Pavilion by Li Po, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. Where once the ancients said farewell, a sadness on the scene will dwell. We're parted guests, the moon is bright, our torrent bathes their hills in light. The lake flowers bloom in sunny spring, the bamboos nightly autumn sing. We're past and now together met, within my song shall linger yet. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Return with Spring by Li Po, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. Fine as the lines in verdant jade upsprouts the grass of Yen. Their growth long winter has delayed, and thou comest when? The mulberries of Chin Lo droop, their branches verdant with new leaves. Waiting the picker's hand they stoop, as I await. Ah, waiting grieves. The spring is come, in thee the thought of home returning too should spring. My heart is yearning, not for naught is hope, nor bitterness to bring. The east wind knows me not, yet blows amidst my meshed curtain's gauze. Is it for you the way it shows, not breathing aimless, lacking cause? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Delights of the Palace by Li Po, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. Born through melted snow appears the blossoms of the plum, and to the tender willow leaves the vernal breezes come. Within the halls the orioles with joy delirious sing, as from the caves the swallows greet each home returning wing. With closing of the evening dim, the festal flares with light, where to the whirling dancers' limbs fresh flowers add beauty bright. Before the shadows of the night the solemn guards retire, and all the lovely scene dissolves in satisfied desire. The fragrant breeze is pleasant in the pictured silken doors. The glow of dawn is sweet and fresh across the window's gauze. The flowers press up their happy cheeks the beaming sun to view, while by the shady lake each leaf the spring is glossing new. Amidst the verdant trees I hear the birds their carols sing, As o'er the harem's floor the maid's light steps and dances ring. The plum, the peach flower, moon, unite the consort's bower to grace, And in each silken robe dissolved their colors find a place. The color of the willow trees is soft as pliant gold, The pear trees too their fragrant flowers in snow white bloom unfold. The stately mansion holds a nest to suit the halcyon bright, Within its lordly halls the birds of love their hearts unite. A chosen bevy serve about the prince's carven chair, And fill, when bid, the thrilling room with song and music rare. But should you ask, preferred of all who rules this proud array, I'd answer that in Chao Yang court supreme is Fei Yen's sway.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. On the Frontier by Li Po. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. 'Tis June, and still on Altai there lies the bitter snow. Amid the chill of winter no happy flowers grow. Although the wailing flute may sing the willow of the spring, The color of the vernal leaves this place can never know. The kettle drum at daylight calls forth to war's array. In midnight sleep our saddles we dare not put away. This cursed tyrant Lu Lan, who us to death would bring, With this good blade within my belt how gladly would I slay. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
On the Frontier, 2, by Li Po. Translated by J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. The pillagers of the autumn brings down to loot the land. From homes celestial gather our armies band by band. The leaders split their tallies to make war's orders yare. The warriors sink to slumber on coils of drifted sand. The very moon of heaven is bended like a bow. Upon our swords Mongolian frosts their silver tracery sow. The time is long ere we at last within the walls shall fare. Ah, sigh not, little wife of mine, so mournfully and low. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Absence by Li Po. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. Our slender moon in quiet wanes away. Around me dully thuds the washing bar, Nor drops the wind long autumn from its wings, While all my heart is at the frontier far. Ah, when will all our foes be beaten back, And my dear husband finish distant war? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Wife's Lament by Li Po. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The Wife's Lament. On Yanchi hill the sere leaves quit the tree. This tower I mount to gaze abroad for thee. The sea's white clouds are broken on the hill, As autumn grows in loneness over me. In Gobi's waste the Mongol hordes prevail. Back to the wall the sons of China trail. The guest of battle there his blood shall spill. Ah me, snapped orchid with my lonely wail. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Crows That Caw by Night by Li Po. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The Crows That Caw by Night. Through dusty clouds beside the wall the crows come home so late, and cawing fly from bough to bough as each one seeks her mate. The lonely wife was working her silken tapestry. Her window gauze seems mist to her, their cawing words of fate. Her shuttle stops, she sadly dreams of her dear absentee. Her dripping tears confess she feels the house how desolate. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Our Parting at Kindling Inn by Li Po. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Our Parting at Kindling Inn. With incense from the willow flowers the zephyr fills the inn. A rustic beauty baits the wine and tempts the guests to taste. All kindling friends come hither to speed each other haste. Those leaving and those staying all make the goblet spin. Now prithee ask the river that ever eastward flows, if any parting constant as his he ever knows. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Chang Liang by Li Po. Translated by J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Before your tiger roar was heard, your house was sold, a home no more. But still by failure undeterred, you sought along the purple shore, until a bravo stout you found at Po Long sands to smite the ground the tyrant Tien. Though to avenge the Hans you failed, beneath that stroke the empire reeled. You then in pay your traces veiled, where for long years you lay concealed. If neither craft nor valor might the conflict win for freedom's right, not thine the sin. I come upon the bridge of Yi, dreaming old dreams of long ago, admiring your nobility. But only see the waters flow, still green beneath the bridge they race. Him of the yellow stone no trace is left to me. Sighing I say, this man no more, nor Hsu or Hsu today can show. Now he is gone, how desolate the barren shore. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Feast of Life by Li Po. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The Feast of Life. Seest thou not the yellow river coming from the sky, downward to the ocean flowing, never turning back? How thy hair to grey is growing, sadly in yon mirror spy, snow at eve that but this morning showed so glossy black. Would you taste this life so fleeting, quickly snatch at every boon, leaving not the golden goblet glinting empty to the moon? Heaven has given me these talents, yea, and gave them not in vain. Lo, 1,000 golden ducats lavished greet the world again. These roasted sheep and oxen, slain for some one, make a feast. Our meeting here shall swallow down 300 cups at least. Now, friends, the wine is ready. I prithee, no delay. Incline your ears to listen while I sing to you a lay. Of music and dainties small reck do I make, my bliss to be drunken, never sober to wake. The sages of old have scarce left us a name, the deep drinkers only recorded by fame. When Cheng Wang of old gave his feast at Pinglore, a gallon of wine each aroused their acclaim. The host shall never say that too small is his store, but buy the good vintage and lavishly pour. This gallant bay charger and fur coat of mine, now let the boy take them and change them for wine. The cares of the ages, though many and sore, away will we scatter, and know them no more. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Chung-nan by Li Po, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Chung-nan. Where a slip of moon aye shines eastward over the pines, where the torrents speak, a mansion of eld have I, 'tis Chung-yang's maiden peak. If magic herbs to find you wander thither, mind the rosy shoots of the flags. Should we each other seek in life's low eventide, a dragon white I'll ride to yonder sunlit crags. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Coming Down from Chung-nan by Li Po, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Coming Down from Chung-nan. The dusk descends along the verdant hills, over which the moon our footsteps follows back. Gaze up, and lo! The path by which we came winds up the hill amid the greenwood track. As hand in hand we reach the farmer's home, his lads to us the thorn-wove wicket ope. The path overhung with bamboo sprays is dim, green creepers at the passer's clothing grope. Gladly we say, here is a place to rest. The goodly wine in waving circle goes. Our songs extol the sweet fur-laden air, till ere we cease each star but dimly glows. Drunken am I, and you with pleasure too, in pure enjoyment, free from human woes. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. She's Wedding by Li Po, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. She's Wedding, a ballad. The crows fly back, perching on Ku-su's high tower, and flushing with She is Wang's rich bower. They sang and they danced, and they merry made still, when half of the sun sank behind the green hill. In golden clepsydra the silver gauge showed how long yet the night ere the shaded hours fly. On the river's low ripples the clear moonlight glowed, but oh, what delight when it mounted on high. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Huang-ho Liu by Li Po, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The Huang-ho Liu, a farewell ode to Meng Haoran. You parted, leaving to the west the Huang-ho Liu, the mists of spring in floating veils descending on Yang-shu. Adown the distance faded hence with thee yon lonely sail, to where the mournful river's waves into the skyline flow. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Moon Shines Everywhere by Li Po, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The moon shines everywhere. Seeing the moonbeams by my couch so bright, I thought hoar frost had fallen in the night. On the clear moon I gazed with lifted eyes, then hid them full of home's sweet memories. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Boating Party by Li Po, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The Boating Party. The river clear, the autumn moon so bright, We pluck the South Lake's bridal flowers white. The maiden water lilies seem to speak, and tinge with shame each boat born wanton's cheek. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Quitting Po-ti at Dawn by Li Po. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by James White. Po-ti amid its rainbow clouds we quitted with the dawn. 1,000 li in one day's space to Changling are borne. Ere yet the gibbon's howling along the banks was still, all through the cragged gorge our skiff had fleeted with the morn. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Kin-ling by Li Po. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by James White. Of kingdoms 6, their state that raised, in turn upon each other's fall, libations 3 when I have made, a lay I sing unto you all. This garden that is left us now is smaller than the chins of yore. These hills remind of Loyang peaks, are like them, but in number more. The flowers that long ago the Wus had planted by their ancient halls, the silks and damasks that the Kins concealed within their palace walls, with all their human lovers gone, are all extinct in long decay. Old time has washed them to the east, amidst the ocean's waves away. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Mr. Young's Secluded Retreat by Li Po. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by James White. With verdant heads the crowd of cliffs are brushing the sky. So aimless wandering here, one feels not the years go by. I burst through the veiling clouds in search of the ancient way, or lean me against a tree while hearing the torrents play. The warm spring opens the flowers, the fairy ox lies down, the white crane sleeps above on the lofty pine tree's crown. The river gleams with twilight, as now our speech is done. Alone I cross the chilly mist, descending with the sun. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Fallen Terrace by Li Po. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. Fresh elm and willow barely hide the garden terrace bare. The calthrop picker's singing thrills the clearer vernal air. But ah, the moon that once beheld these halls so gaily thronged, upon the western river shines, its sole companion there. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Dongshan Cave by Li Po. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Skip. To Dongshan Cave, so long I have not been. How often have its roses filled with bloom? Its silver clouds all pass away unseen. Descends Diana there? To visit whom? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Lover of Scenery by Li Po. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Skip. All the birds had flown away. One cloud its aimless circle rain, unwearied gazing on each other, it and Jingtingshan. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Age's Rhyme by Li Po. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. Ah me, to make such length of grizzled hair, how many days it grew along with care! Indeed, how could in this pure mirror show the origin of so much autumn snow? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Steps of Disappointment by Li Po. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The Steps of Disappointment. The dew forms white upon the marble stair. Our silken socks are damp ere night outwear. Returning, drop our crystal blinds to see the autumn moon gleam through them glintingly. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Kettle Isle by Li Po. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Kettle Isle. 'Tis night, and on the western stream here swims the Kettle Isle. No cloud to fleck the spotless sky that stretches mile on mile. Within my skiff I float away the autumn moon to view, in idle dreams of him who raised to fame a poet new. A lofty strain I too can lift, but what will that avail? There is no patron now to hear my heartstrings sobbing wail. Our matting sails we raise again to meet tomorrow's sun. As from the tree the maple leaves are dropping one by one. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Northern Hall by Li Po. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The Northern Hall. A picture before me the city lies there, seen far from the hills in the dawning's bright air. Clear mirrors two rivers have here their twin birth, two bridges like rainbows that pair on the earth. In their orange and pomelo groves they are cold, the leaves of the wu-tung with autumn grow old. Who cares that aloft on this north tower I yet dream of the ancients the wind has borne by? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Water Pavilion by Li Po. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The Water Pavilion. High through the rainbow air this chamber towering see, while intermingle around shadow and sunlight clear. Splashing above the eaves leap the waters of Yuan-shi. On Xing-ting cloudy hill down from the windows peer. The gibbon's howl the sigh of the wind has led astray. To the placid moon above the songs of the fishers soar. Free as the sea-gull sailing we seem to float away. Am I not one of them there that flock on the sandy shore? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Lost by Li Po. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. Upon the clouds I gaze and see thy vesture floating fair. Upon the flowers I gaze and lo, thy cheek is kindling there. The zephyr brushing through the stoop thy footfall seems to be. The dew, so like thy freshness, brings the sense of loss to me. Our broken fates no hope attends, but if on earth we meet no more, await me on that fairy shore. Behind those clouds the moon ascends, a moulded form whose smooth excess, sweet fragrance clung around, a dream of rapture magical that made the pulses bound. Her equal in the court of Han as yet had never been. What new attire for Yang Wei Fei to shroud her in the ground? Mid happy flowers the loveliest still is Helen's beauty rare. How often had he smiled to see her fairest flower there! This breath of balm to dissipate what boundless hate arose. The well remembered arbor floods his heart with scented care. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To Ho Chien by Li Po, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. To Ho Chien. Though anxious office to resign, and private garb resume, your able craft and placid mind must long the court illume. From Mao the wondrous you received the true arcana's art. A home by Tung Ting Lake his grace now grants you to assume. The sky is full of stars, the mist enshrouds Mount Yao Tai tall. From Wizard Peak high lost in space yon islands look so small. The crane that from the tree of pearls never loveth to depart, ah, tell me when it next will fly across the city wall. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Autumn Fan by Li Po, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Sandra Schmidt. The Autumn Fan. Before my hall, sweet flowers perfume the calm and silent night. I wish to roll the blinds, but am checked by spring's despite. Dimly, guitar beneath my arm, the glancing moon I see. The wavering colors of the trees obscure my lost delight. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Fruitless Visit to the Priest of the Tai Tien Hills by Li Po, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Sandra Schmidt. A fruitless visit to the priest of the Tai Tien Hills. I hear the barking of the dogs amidst the water's sound. The recent rain has washed each stain from all the peach bloom round. At times, amid the thickest copse, a timid deer is seen, and to the breeze in sparkling seas the bamboos roll in green. From yonder verdant peak depends the sheeted waterfall. At noon's full prime I hear no chime of bells from Arbor Hall. Whither the wandering priest has gone is no one here can tell. Against a pine I sad recline, and let my heart o'erswell. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A River Melody by Li Po, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Sandra Schmidt. A River Melody. With cornel oars, our skiff of mountain pear lightly glances o'er the lapping waters. At the bow, a flute of echo fair, at the stern, a pipe's melodious air mingle with the song of beauty's daughters. Here are copious flasks of vintage rare. Why then would we quit this world of care? Need we wait to mount some fairy crane? Free as seagulls float we o'er the waters, idly floating on this shoreless main. The songs of famous singers live as long as sun and moon shall circle in the sky. The halls of pride, now strewn the hills along, proclaim that every other fame shall die. To such rapture even mighty mountains stir and sway their weighty bulk again. In the fairy islands of the blessed lives forever each immortal strain. But sooner could flow backward to its fountains this stream than wealth and honors can remain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Return to Wen Chuan by Li Po. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sandra Schmidt. The Return to Wen Chuan. 12 leaders of the cohorts passed along, as ordered stars deck out the skirts of night. Beneath the harvest moon, there glittered bright as frost the keen steel of the moving throng. Like moonbeams draped over clouds, the banners flew. In awe respectful, every door was shut. Through boundless space the music sounded up. The breath of perfect morn caresses blew in wanton airs around our prince, the good and true. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. To Have Loved and Lost by Li Po. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sandra Schmidt. To have loved and lost. Last night the wind of spring laid bare the peach flowers of the well. Before the palace soared the moon with radiance clear, but fell. Within his room the actress maid his shifting love had won. Without, the silken robe he gave could not the chill dispel. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Soft stillness and the night become the touches of sweet harmony by Li Po. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sandra Schmidt. Soft stillness and the night become the touches of sweet harmony. From what clear flute, unseen, these flying trills with which the wind of spring the city fills? Amid the strains, the flower is plucked anew. In what sweet garden? How my bosom thrills! End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Reinforcements by Tu Fu. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. At dawn the camp I enter by Loy Ying's eastern gate. At eve upon the floating bridge I stand to meditate. The rays of sunlight glint upon the banner floating wide. A shrilling wind and horses' neighs resound on every side. A myriad tents in ordered rows are set upon the sand, the men each other hailing as each one quits his band. In mid-sky high suspended the moon is sailing bright. This discipline makes desolate the loneliness of night. With wailings intermittently a mournful reed pipe sobs. Disheartened seem the warriors, no breast with ardor throbs. Were someone now to ask me who may the general be, at random guessing I would say some flaunting Co is he. End of poem. This recording is in public domain.
To Wei Pa of that ilk by Tu Fu. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. Like stars that rarely see each other, in life we do not often meet. What eve is this that brings us now together, where these bright candles greet? Our youth, our strength, alas, how soon depart! Our beards, our hair are streaked with flecks of gray. Of friends we visit, half have passed away. The sudden news catches the thrilling heart. How tell that 20 years would first be sped ere I should again enter into your hall? For when I left you, you were still unwed. Lo, now your boys and girls are growing tall. Their father's ancient friend with pleasure see, and whence I hither came, inquire of me. Unfinished question and reply remain. Your children come to set the broth and wine. a turnip fresh cut after last night's rain, and steaming rice so fine. Then says the host, "When shall we meet once more?" With goblets 10 he pledges me again. 10 goblets leave me sober as before, so deep my grateful memories him retain. To-morrow by the cragged hills disparted, unconscious of each other, widely parted. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Hsia by Tu Fu. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. As beauty is of all the world admired, obscurity no longer her could hide. That morn a maiden washing by the brook, that eve a prince's bride. In humble state how different from the rest! When fortune came they noted her how rare. Attendants then she had to tire her hair, and aiding hands arranged her silken vest. Her lord's love sought to aid her beauty fair, in all her flaw his tenderness would hide. The comrades who were washing by her side might not attend her in her chariot there, when she their busy offices declined. They that they could not frown like her, repined. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Qian Chao by Tu Fu. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. This temple to the north of Qianchao walls is said to be the home of former kings. About its age creep moss and slimy things, the colors peeling from its empty halls. The dew-pearl leaves against the moonbeams play. The mountain breeze the clouds across it brings. The river turns in mere contempt away, and eastward from this sullen sorrow flings. Where myriad peaks in wildered chaos peer, covered with clouds, although no wind be near. In rock-strewn valley cowers this lonely town. Ere night the moon will o'er the pass appear. In yon far country why so long delay? He comes not back who Lu Lan went to slay. Across the clouds of dust and mist I stare, whose broken soughings brush my face all day. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Unable to visit Judge Wang owing to rain by Tu Fu. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. On a houseboat sleeping by the beach's side, moonbeams glinting on the shingle-washing tide, a sudden gale arises and leaps the faring light. The river hisses as the rain comes streaming through the night. When dawn awakened the temple bell, the sky is full of cloud. The banks are wet, and from afar, about the hall of rocks, a shroud of mist veils floating are. As with our sweeps we leave behind the wheeling gull's domain, your virtues I perceive, alas, I never can attain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Runners of Shih-hao, An Incident of Civil War by Tu Fu. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The Runners of Shih-hao, An Incident of Civil War. The twilight gloamed. At Shih-hao Tsun I stayed. Night soldiers brought the inmates to arrest. The old man leapt the wall and fled afraid. To meet them issued his old wife, distressed. Shouted the soldier's tones in anger strong. The woman's voice was broken with her woe. I heard her say that her 3 sons had gone to war at Etiain. They were forced to go. That 2 were dead, the last one wrote to say. and he in constant jeopardy he rode. Those dead were gone forever. Ay, 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 with what a choke the words tore up her throat. Within the house there now was no one left, only her infant grandson at the breast, and his poor mother, thus of all bereft, in worn and tattered robe was scantily dressed. The poor old soul, enfeebled, aged, and worn, through the dark night must with the soldiers go. Her enemies, with agitation torn, to cook a meal she hurries to and fro. Their voices sound, the lengthening hours consume, and weeping dies in strangling sobs away. The light returns, as I my road resume, but sad farewells to that old man I say. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Lost Beauty by Tu Fu, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. Cut off from all, my beauty only left. My gloomy dwelling is a hollow vale. I sighing say, mid trees and grass, ah me, what can my parents' goodly name avail? Within the wall old days are swept away. My brothers' lofty rank could naught prevail, for they are slain. Our scattered flesh and bone unburied lies, all left me to bewail. The world's desire is overborne by woe, the fate of man a candle's flickering light. And my betrothed, alas, the wanton boy has made a lovelier face his heart's delight. It's time of flowering the hibiscus knows, the birds of love depart not in the night. But when he sees his new bride's happy smile, the old love's sobbing is forgotten quite. Upon the hill's pure breast the spring is clear, but turbid when the hill it leaves behind. My maid returned with food my pearls have bought. The flowers I pluck I place not in my hair. The cypress leaves my idle fingers bind. To this chill air my green silk sleeves are thin. Mid bamboos tall my fading day declined. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Farewell by Tu Fu, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. Chao Fu is shaking his head. No longer he wishes to stay. Eastward is going to follow the sea and the mist away, leaving to heaven and earth his verse as a monument to fish by the coral trees that grow in the argent bay. He flies the monstrous route that haunts the marsh and deepest hills. The windy scene of early spring the shadowy twilight fills. The weaver maid her cloudy car from lost Atlantis guides to point through space his wandering, lest fear his spirit chills. His essence born in fairyland, from whence can lightly fly, though mortal reason failed to see wherein the power lie. Alas, that still he hovers o'er the bitterness of death, yet wealth and honors are but dew the rapid sunbeams dry. Our prince with kindness to his friends his flowing bounty shares. The night was clear, the wine was set before the palace stairs. The music ceased, in parting sign, the moon the banquet lit. How many years before from space his message lulls my cares? To caverned you southward go our friendly Po to see. I beg that you will bear to him a greeting kind from me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Chariots Go Forth to War by Tu Fu, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org. Chariots rumble and roll, horses whinny and neigh, Footmen at their girdle bows and arrows display. Fathers, mothers, wives, and children by them go. 'Tis not the choking dust alone that strangles what they say. Their clothes they clutch, their feet they stamp, their crush blocks up the way. The sounds of weeping mount above the clouds that gloom the day. The passers-by inquire of them, but whither do you go? They only say, we're mustering, do not disturb us so. These 15 years and upwards the northern pass defend, and still at 40 years of age their service does not end. All young they left their villages, just registered were they. The war they quitted sees again the same men worn and gray, and all along the boundary their blood has made us see. But never till the world is his will Wang happy be. Have you not heard? In Shantung there 200 districts lie, all overgrown with briar and weed and wasted utterly. The stouter women swing the hoe and guide the stubborn plough. The fields have lost their boundaries. The corn grows wildly now, and routed bands with hunger grim come down in disarray to rob and rend and outrage them and treat them as a prey. Although the leaders question them, the soldiers' plaints resound, and winter has not stopped the war upon the western bound. And war needs funds. The magistrates for taxes press each day, the land tax and the duties. Ah, how shall these be found? In times like this, stout sons to bear is sorrow and dismay. Far better, girls, to marry to a home not far away. But sons are buried in the grass. Yon Sidam's waste survey. The bones of those who fell before are bleaching on the plain. Their spirits weep our ghosts to hear, lamenting all their pain. Beneath the gloomy sky there runs a wailing in the rain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The River's Brim by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sophia Solaris. One day of spring went stealing to Chang'an's river side. An ancient rustic weeping, to check his sobs he tried. The palace doors are firmly locked beside the river's brim. Do willows slim and rushes put forth their green for him? He sees again, sadly, the rainbow banners play, and all the southern garden reflecting love's array. And Yang Kuei Fei the lovely beside her lover ride, together in one chariot, attending at his side. Before the chariot eunuchs their bows and arrows bear. The courser champs his golden bit, she turns her body fair. And looking up to heaven, with one bright smile she brings from out the clouds a captive of love with beating wings. Those eyes so bright, those teeth so white, today where may they be? The place her blood defiled her soul again may never see. As eastward through the gorges the shining waters bore, so flowing on or stopping, these lovers meet no more. Ah, man is born for loving. My breast is wet with tears, with river grass and river flowers, if ended all our fears. Amid our country's twilight the Tatar horsemen ride, their dust clouds fill the city, the very roads they hide. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Homesickness by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sophia Solaris. Upon the river's whiteness the birds more clearly fly, and with the greenness of the hills the flowers more brightly vie. In gazing on them all, the spring is slowly passed away. The day that brings me home again, how long will time deny? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Tai Shan by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sophia Solaris. Of Tai Shan what can one say? Here Lu and Chi for aye freshly their youth retain. Here heaven and earth unite, spiritual grace to form. As a pole of shade and light, it sunders the dusk and dawn. Soaring through layers of cloud, at sight of it swells the breast. At a glance the eye can view the birds coming home to rest. But climb to the uttermost peak, all other hills seem small, as the eye o'erlooks them all. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Duke Wu's Temple by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Duke Wu's Temple. The long deserted temple has lost its red and green. Upon these hills all overgrown no passer-by is seen, though still resounds the vacant air with Wu Hu's last farewell. He rests no more at Nanyang, devotion's closing scene. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Music of the Spheres by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The Music of the Spheres. The flutes that pipe in Chin Cheng town confuse the light of day. Half lost in clouds, the river breeze the one half bears away. Such music is confined to heaven, for spirit ears alone. How rarely can mere mortals catch the echo's distant play. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Thoughts of Home by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. Thoughts of Home. Amid the jade-green willow trees, two golden orioles sing across the clear blue sky, a flight of soaring egrets wing. The sighs of chilly autumn that breathe eternal snow from Orme's lofty mountain about the casement flow. Ah, would that they could take me back the 1,000 miles and more, from hence to home, those goodly ships that anchor at my door. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Crescent Moon by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Hopeforce One. The Crescent Moon. The crescent moon desired to mount on high. Its slanting course never grew to orbed sway. A little while it peered above the hill, then lost in cloudy sunset passed away. The Milky Way no change of color knew, no lofty peaks gleamed chiller for its spheres. the dews that fall so white within the court, the flowers' cups swift full with quiet tears. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Recording by Hopeful Swan. To the Moon by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Hopeful Swan. To the Moon. The autumn drawing up along the night. Amidst mankind the moon casts shadows bright. The toad sings not amid the Milky Way. His elixirs the hare pounds on for aye. All brings but sorrow to my heart sincere, and makes my whitening hair more white appear. Over all the earth resound loud war's alarms. Illume no more, O moon, these traitors' arms. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Recording by Hopeful Swan.
The Tatar Horse by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. The Tatar Horse. A Tatar horse from Derbent, all slimness, muscle, bone, by ears erect like bamboo shoots, its fiery spirit shone. Hoofs swift as wind, that spurn at space in rapid light career, fit to be trusted with your life in peril far or near. Ah, since a steed like this you own, of such a haughty strength, to burst across 1,000 miles were but a journey's length. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Pounding the Clothes by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Pounding the Clothes. That from the war you would not come, alas, too well I knew, and I must scrub the washing stone for autumn's use anew. The bitter winter drawing on, the months of cold are near, and since we parted, ah, so long, the days so lone and drear. To pound these clothes, such weary toil, yet how can I refuse? Then send them to the wall, somewhere, where may you be, I muse. My woman's strength is all worn out, but not my anxious care. Can you not hear the pounding drub come echoing on the air? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Harvest Moon, 15th of 8th Moon by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. The flying mirror of the moon is dazzling in mine eyes, but broken like a sword, my hope the distant home denies. I come from wandering o'er the earth, a creeping weed am I. I seek the elixir of life, but ah, your heaven is high. These moonlit waters one would think were made of frost and snow, while in the woods each feathered bird the piercing moonbeams show. Upon the rabbit in the moon I stare, and gazing dote, as though I hope to count the hairs upon his snowy coat. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Waning Moon, 16th of 8th Moon by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. Last night poured forth the moon's bright golden waves, and all shall tell how pure this autumn's dew. The mountains seemed to spread across the earth, the Milky Way flowed past high heaven through. Fuel seekers from ravines with songs return, a lone flute in the town its woe uplifts. From dreams disordered starts the fisher boy, at midnight's hour across the stream he drifts. End of the poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Fading Moon, 17th of 8th Moon by Tu Fu, translated by W. G. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org. The autumn moon is rounded still this night. At Kiang-tsún I pass my lonely age. I roll the blind. She yet pours down her light. She follows I my staff-brought pilgrimage. Her piercing beams the hidden dragons know. Her radiance wakes the fluttering birds from rest. In orange groves stands my thatched bungalow, all purity in this fresh dew expressed. End of the poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Setting Sun by Tu Fu, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org. The curtain hooks were gilt as sunset sank. Springtide along the torrents turns to gloom. Wafts from green shores yon garden's sweet perfume. The gatherers of fuel their meal to cook have stayed their vessel on a sandy bank. The shrieking birds that fight to settle there fall down, and all about the garden look. A cloud of insects flying in the air. O muddy leaves of vine, who made you so that one deep draught will scatter all my woe? End of the poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Pillar of the South by Tu Fu, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org. Down to the utmost southern verge high dignity has gone. The greatest minister of state thy writing beareth on. From halls of ceremony called the glory onward flows. How many barbarous nations greet thy tablet as it goes! About yon travelling yamen what flowery gums exhale, as southward bound through drizzling mist bears that spring-laden sail. But ah, alas! How can I tell when from the purple sea the destiny of heaven will send you back again to me? End of the poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Boating Party by Tu Fu, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. A Boating Party. At sunset it is well indeed to let the shallop go, when lapping waves before the breeze along the water flow. For here are bamboo thickets green, the wanderers to hide, and fit is evening air to cool the vestal lily's side. The youthful prince is splashing up the water's chilly waves, while lily roots with silken threads the lovely maiden laves. Two's company! Lo, over my head an inky cloudlet lowers. 'Tis sure the rain that bends me over my poem ere it showers. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. An Autumn View by Tu Fu, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. An Autumn View. Across our view no bounds clear autumn throws, yet massed shades along the distance rise. Yon waters take pure colours from the skies, o'er yon lone town the veiling mist wave flows. The few last leaves the breezes bear away. Yon hills, though far, behind them sets the sun. Ah, why is not, lone crane, thy journey done, when all the woods with dizzy cawings sway? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Yo Yang Tower by Tu Fu, Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Yo-Yang Tower. Long since the fame of Tung-Ting Lake I knew. At last from Yo-Yang Tower its truth I view. To south and east 2 countries it divides, while earth and sky swim ever on its tides. No friend and no relation here engage. This lonely boat my all in sickly age. The war horse tramps the hills 'twixt home and me. Yea, over this rail my tears fall bitterly. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Snow at Changsha by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Snow at Changsha. Out of the north the snow is assaulting Changsha. Its clouds over Hunan go, where few snows are. A myriad homes makes cold, far borne on the gale, with scattered leaflets old, where raindrops hail, not grown to flake like flowers. Empty of angels pale, flecks it my purse, yet a silver pot may bail credit for wine. No one to fetch it? Why then I drain off the froth. Must I wait again and again till the dizzy crows come home to their roosting bowers? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Farewell Ode by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. A Farewell Ode. The world is full of battle. Why wilt thou ride away? Thy friends all weeping round thee, because thou wilt not stay. And yet your horse you saddle for yon lone city grey. The leaves are falling, falling, the year is waxing old. The mountains and the rivers the frosty snows enfold, that parting but of yesterday taught how they felt of old. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Passing Shower by Tu Fu, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. The Passing Shower. At evening, o'er the village a sudden gust arose. The darkened court the rain has soaked in passing by. Before the sunset now the grass is steaming dry. The river's bright reflection on my fair lattice glows. My books are all disordered, who else can put them straight? The cup that now is dry myself can fill again. I often hear the whisper that brings the moment's hate, then wonder not if age from intercourse refrain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Kindly Rain by Tu Fu, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. The Kindly Rain. The kindly rain its proper season knows, with gentle spring aye born in fitting hour. Along the wind with cloaking night it goes, in moistening fine inaudible it flows. The clouds the mountain paths in darkness hide, and lonely bright the vessel's lanterns glower. Dawn shows how damp the blushing buds divide, and flowers drop head heavy in each bower. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Geese Return by Tu Fu, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. They tell me that the geese this spring from far Canton their journey wing. The flowers they see and bid farewell to the warm ocean's southern swell. By low Fu hills they sail along until the melting snow be gone. Such things the soldiers' spirits feel, and hopes of home they sadly steal. Yet frost and mist from year to year these hills dispart, retaining here the geese, that never should have crossed the lakes where autumn brings but frost. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Dawn by Tu Fu. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. In Po Tea Town the watchman's rap is over for tonight. On Yang Tai Hill the dawn grows up from darkness into light. Upon the lofty mountain peaks the sunlight glances chill. Below o'er massed ranges sleep, the night dark cloudlet still. Above the river's bank up peers a slowly gliding sail. The day so clear makes audible each falling leaflet frail. Beside the gate of woven thorn pass by a pair of deer. Ah, could I join your troop to go where fairies linger near? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. My Reflection by Night by Tu Fu. Translated by W. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Some scattered grass, a shore breeze blowing light, a giddy mast, a lonely boat at night. The wild-flung stars o'erhang all vasty space. The moonbeams with the Yahtze's current race. How, by my pen, can I to fame attain? Worn out, from office better to refrain. Drifting o'er life, and what, in sooth, am I? A seagull floating twixt the earth and sky. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Pair of Swallows by Tu Fu. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. A pair of swallows startled me at my Passover meal, that to the northern hall some mud were bearing for their nest. Me, doomed till cooler autumn come in sweltering clime to rest, until with them I fly away this damp and heat to feel. The little ones in the world are born twixt earth and air, their parents here to bear them a weary journey wing. To them above, to me on earth, may autumn freedom bring. Then also I with them can fly this outland of despair. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Hall of Harps by Tu Fu. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. That long excess at Changling had constant sickness brought, and yet the princely Chou-wen his dearest friend he thought. Amidst the herded world of men a tavern must he keep, o'er him as o'er his hall of harps the clouds of sunset creep. The rosettes that their cheeks made fair the wild flowers yet retain. The colors of their silken robes our modern creepers stain. But ah, the burden of his song! The phoenix seeks his mate, no more is heard, and fading hence, left echo desolate. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Temple to Yu by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Behold the temple to great Yu, betwixt two hollow hills. The sun slopes down behind it, and the breath of autumn chills. Yet orange tree and pomeloes droop round the lonely halls, and dragons, gods of waters, writhe about the ancient walls. And all about each vacant room white misty cloudlets curl, as far along the silver sand the river waters purl. By boat, by cart, by sledge, by pile, he labored long ago, to pierce these distant hills and guide the triple river's flow. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Imperial Tombs by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. The girdle ornaments are chill, of those that serve about the tomb, lost in the chamber's vaulted gloom, and there the hall of state is still. But when the wind of autumn sere comes wailing through the palace drear, the moon o'erpeers the land of Chin, now sloping down unto the west. The dragon pool comes creeping in the ancient building to invest. Another day of travel done, we anchor with the setting sun. The water clock with dripping clear, and then marks out the passing time, and in my memory rise anear those gardens glittering white with rime. 1,000 miles away I view the tombs and yellow hill anew. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Mockingbird by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. What? Is the mockingbird come? The spring, he comes to say. The spring is here today. All sounds, all words he knows. His feathers preen how he will. He is the same bird still. Where flowers most thickly screen, difficult to be seen, his varying notes deride the topmost boughs between. If out of time he chide, lo, slander at your side. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Thinking of My Brothers on a Moonlit Night by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. The war drum booms, all roads are bare. One wild goose clangs, 'tis autumn there. Our nightly dews hence will be white. On our old home the moon is bright. Brothers have I all scattered far, homeless, how know if still they are. Letters I send, but none reply. Is this not war's sad tyranny? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Bride's Lament by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Where choked with hemp and weeds the dodder grows, it lowly creeps and hides its drooping head. Your daughter better to have cast away beside the road than to a soldier wed. As your young wife I dressed my maiden hair, yet had not time, alas, to warm your bed. At twilight married, dawn brought sad farewell, short hours of hurry that too quickly fled. Hwang indeed is not so very far, that frontier post to which your steps are sped. But how can I before your parents serve, ere yet our marriage rites are finished? Both day and night my parents kept retired my tender life until the maiden's due. The time arrived that I should married be. Then my old pets accompanied me too. Beside the realm of death you live, ah me! My heart is wrung with anguish and with rue. In hesitation trembles all my frame, and yet I swear I long to go with you. Upon our recent marriage do not dwell. Set all your heart your duties stern to do. For if your wife were with you in the host, in vain I fear would arms or glory sue. Alas! that I, of humble parents born, too long have tender silk and samite worn. My thoughts no more can silk or samite sway, as my sad tears wash all my rouge away. I lift my eyes to see the birds that fly, both great and small, all pairing in the sky. All human things the gales of fate constrain. Ah! were I only joined to you again. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Chang Sung by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. The sunset reddens o'er the lofty peak. The sun steps down the level plain to seek. The sparrows twitter on the wicker door. Home, yet so many miles have left me weak. My wife and children start to see me here. Surprise scarce vanquished wipes a furtive tear. To think that swept by anarchy away, yet chance returns me to each bosom dear. The garden wall with neighbors' heads is lined. Each breast surcharging breaks in sighings kind. All night beside the candle's beam we sit, as though in dreams and absence still we pined. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Firefly by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Born from rotting grasses damp, still the daylight thou must fear. On my scroll thy tiny lamp scarcely lets the words appear, but on strangers dressed from far shinest thou a tender star, or when wind borne on the gauze of my window, making pause. Small thy phosphorescent beam, as a fairy's eye doth gleam. From the rain you safely hide, in the woodland undescried. But once November's frosts are chill, thou leaf-like fadest from the hill. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Hwa Gung by Tu Fu. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Returned from years of exile, lo, I find the fir trees groaning in the dismal wind. Beneath I know not what lost prince's hall, the field mouse burrows in the shattered wall. The rooms are dim, and baleful corpse fires glare o'er mouldering walls, and streak the murky air. The bamboos sob a note of piping wail through autumn's gloomy damp and misty veil. To yellow clay each lovely maid is turned, my foot the sherds of ointment boxes spurned. And where the prince's chariots once were seen, stone horses now watch where his tomb has been. Upon the grass the singer now must sit, to pour with tears the hoarseness of his song, and ponder how to deep oblivion flit the men who rode the paths of battle strong. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Milky Way by Tu Fu, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Often hidden, often bright, clearest on an autumn night, sometimes covered with the shroud of some fleecy streak of cloud. Yet, when past thou dost appear, all the night both bright and clear, in and out thy starry doors fly the fairies of the sky, for we see them opening, closing, as each spirit passes by. Thou descendest with the moon down the high Empyrean hill. Ah, but thy most precious boon, when thou holdest breathless still, lest the weaver maid might miss her herd boy lover's annual kiss. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Flower Love by Wang Wei, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org. Dost wonder if my toilet room be shut, if in the regal halls we meet no more? I ever haunt the garden of the spring, from smiling flowers to learn their whispered lore. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Life's Road by Wang Wei, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org. 'Tis time to say farewell. My horse I stay. The palace moat is chilled as if with woe. Before me stretch the hills in grand array. Went you with me, it were no grief to go. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Today by Wang Wei, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. I had lately removed back to near Meng Valley. A few ancient trees, some waste willows were left. But he who comes after me, what will he find here? Why yearn for the glories the years have bereft? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Silent Night by Wang Wei, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. My idle days are counted by the falling cassia flowers. Upon the hills the spring alone records the noiseless hours. At sudden rising of the moon loud shrieks each forest bird, and yet amid the vernal streams their song is often heard. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Form of the Deer by Wang Wei, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, LibriVox.org. So lone seems the hills, there is no one in sight there. But whence is the echo of voices I hear? The rays of the sunset pierce slanting the forest, and in their reflection green mosses appear. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Moon by Wang. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. In bamboo thicket, hid, sitting alone am I. First my guitar I strum, then stop to whistle a while. Amid the grove so thick, no mortal can me spy. But we behold each other, innocent moon and I. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Hunt by Wang Wei. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. The bows of horn are twanging, and bitter blows the north, as from the town of Wei Chang the hunters issue forth. The hawk's eye gazes keenly across the prairie dry. The snow is gone, and lightly the horsemen gallop by. To Hsinli town we sweep along, then back to Xi Liao. Lo, where we shoot the eagle rolls the clouded sunset now. End of the poem. This recording is in the public domain. Xiang Qi Temple by Wang Wei. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. For Xiang-Qi Temple, seeking far and near, over cloudy peaks for miles I wandered lone. In this old wood no human tracks appear, in hills so vast how trace the bell's deep tone? Huge boulders swallow up the bubbling streams, in chilly gloom the firs the daylight snare. The pools along sing to the twilight's beams, here meditation rules each hissing care. End of the poem. This recording is in the public domain. Chung-nan Hill by Wang Wei. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. The mighty hill of Chung-nan is near to Tse-ang town, and sloping to the river its skirts go pouring down. I gaze about. On every side the white clouds gird the sky. On near approach no verdant lawns among its masses lie. The peaks from every point of view their melting outlines change. In each ravine the light and shade through many colours range. And should you wish a house to find where you the night may pass, they only know who o'er the stream come up to cut the grass. End of the poem. This recording is in the public domain. My Villa at Chung-nan by Wang Wei. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. In middle age I loved to walk the path of Buddhist lore. A home I've made these latter years on Chung-nan's frontier hoar. As prompts the mood, I ever come to wander here alone, where all the pleasure that I find is mine and all my own. Some stream I follow to its source, and there I set me down, to watch the clouds came drifting up across the mountains brown. Perchance some aged rustic may light upon me there. Forgetting time, we chat and laugh, oblivious of care. End of the poem. This recording is in the public domain. So farewell, and it forever, still forever fare ye well. By Wang Wei. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. Quitting my horse, a cup with you I drank, and drinking, asked you whither you were bound. Your hopes unprospered, said you turned you round, to sleep amid the range's outer ground. You went. I ask no more. The white clouds pass, and never yet have any limit found. End of the poem. This recording is in the public domain. Late Summer by Wang, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org. The vacant hills are fresh with recent rain. The coming autumn threats in evening's chill. Amid the firs the moon peeps in again. Bright flashes o'er the stones each mountain rill. With chat of maids who take their homeward way, their washing done, the bamboo groves resound. The fisher's skiff the lotus brushes round. The water ripples as they stir and sway. Although the fragrance of the spring be gone, yet nature's lover well may linger on. End of the poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Mountain Retreat by Wang, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org. Over against the Chung-nan hill she shyly peer my roof of thatch, the whole year round so lone and still, no stranger's hand will lift the latch. Time is my own to idle here, in pebbled rills the fish to catch, or quaff a flask of vintage clear. Come thou and share my simple cheer, one moment's pleasure snatch. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Waiting by Meng, Hwa Gung. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. The evening sun the western hills has crossed. The crowd of valleys are in darkness lost. The moon's night's coolness heralds o'er the pine, while rills and breezes pipe their music fine. Those seeking fuel have almost all gone home. The birds are settling in their leafy dome. Beside the pathway all with creepers dressed, my lonely harp is calling you to rest. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Springtide Dreams by Meng Hao Jan. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. In springtide's dreams the dawn is sweetly drowned, till everywhere the songs of birds resound. I heard last night the rush of wind and rain. How many flowers have fallen to the ground? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Crossing the Zi'ang at Night by Meng Hao Jan. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Night though it be, o'er the waters of Zi'ang, to cross by the ferry the traveller longs. He knows by their fragrance the pear trees in blossom, that some gather lilies, he knows by their songs. By lights on the shore is the bold helmsman steering. The fisher boy sleeps in the mist on the lake. The voice of those passing is heard in the darkness. To Tse-ang, I pray you, which way should we take? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. On June Chou City Wall by Chiu-ling. translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. At eve the wanderer climbs the wall beside the river's brim, the wall upon the bound of heaven, where all looks wildly dim. The islets float almost awash upon the vernal tides, the male and female rainbows a dying shower divides. A distant bird, a lonely sail, afar off I can see. The rising mist curls close beneath a solitary tree. The hills beside my native place I cannot view aright. Those ranges west of Chang-ling have cut them off from sight. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Pear Tree by the Side Door by Chiu Wei. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Thy beauty pure outmocks the driven snow. About our robes thy wafted fragrance clings. The breath of spring has never ceased to flow. Towards the palace steps thy scent it wings. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Pereunt itam Ruinse by Chen Tse-ang. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. There, to the south from the Chi Inn, afar off, behold, is a tower of gold, the place of the yen the wild birds ken, where the masses of foliage lie fold on fold. Peace is to Hsu Wang, who ruled of yore. His plans of conquest are now no more. The horse that I rode I gain bestrode, and returned by the way that I came before. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Evening by Chen Zhang. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Late, late, and grey day darkens into eve, while trembling in the birth of autumn air, the flower of life is shaken till it falls. And what of all the hopes we formed so fair? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Chih-huan Quan in Spring by Chen Zhang. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Yon fairy tower of purest jade how many ages knew? From Tan Chiu hill far off it seems to melt away from view. The torrents seem to mingle with the sunlit cloudy sky. The roofs of leaf-hung arbors are lost in mists on high. On trees 1,000 winters old the snow-white heron leaps. 100 feet in rainbow shape the bridge spans o'er the deeps. In such a place might still be met some elfin sage of old. Upon the path of heaven I sit, his coming to behold. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Grass by Po Juyi. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. How densely thick the grass upon the plain! Decay and splendor 1 year to it brings. The corpse fires burn it down, but all in vain. With each new breath of spring it lives again. Its fragrance creeps across the ancient ways. Its sunlit verdure o'er the ruin strays. Its growth speeds nature's lover on his ways. With wild farewells its long luxuriance rings. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Mist Sketch by Po Juyi. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Beneath the firs the lad to me replied, "My master has but gone to simples seek." He said, he climbed this nearest mountain side. Then, with a pause, he added, gazing wide, "The clouds are dense, he's hidden in the reek." End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Pond by Po Juyi. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Her shallop small the little maiden rows, with stealthy hand the water lilies white. She comes to pluck and bear away, nor knows how to conceal her traces. See, there goes her track across the floating duckweed light. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Night on the Chaipan Hills by Shen Shi. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. Wandered many a league and far, the Chaipan peaks are my inn tonight. The moon of the hills my window fills, and the Milky Way at the door is bright. The springtide scents each verdant dome, the cuckoo calls in the night so clear. The wanderer sleepless lies to hear how the morning cocks crow loud at home. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Old Retired Official by Shen Shi. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. Now the world is all behind me, never comes its echo here. On the graybeard's staff supported, from the hills I see the farmers till the fruitage of the year. Should a passer search to find me, let him, like the man of yore, follow up the murmuring brooklet till he see the flowering peach tree standing by the cottage door. Lost am I in lonely valleys, like to him who, culling simples in the forest gloomy alleys, entered to return no more. Here, like travelers, the people, not like cheering neighbors greeting, ask each other's names on meeting. Bird to bird, from tree to tree, pipes, "Who art thou that callest me?" Though I wander still and lone, lonely must my pleasures be. Sorrowful and shamed I moan that lack of talent exiles me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Gorgeous of the Yangtze by Shen Shi. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. The magic hill soars out of sight, piled up in weird fantastic form. In each ravine such shadowy night as comes from wind and rain, and storm. In each abyss the gloom of hell, where ghouls and hideous devils dwell. Within the triple gorge from high the moon sheds down a kind of dawn. In spring the rivers 9 foam by. What else of wild is here forlorn? Oh, ask not me. He who in dream its spirit saw would fitter seem. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. In the Spring by Wang Chang-ling. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. Within her peaceful chamber, no care the maid oppressed, until the verdant tower she climbed one springtide, gaily dressed. The stir of sprouting foliage beyond the street she saw. Regret she'd send her love to fame rose swelling in her breast. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Longing by Chiu-ling. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. Since, you went away, what grief my mind can sway. I yearn like the moon at full, am duller day by day. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Solitary by Chiu-ling. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. Up from deep ocean to seek the far northland, soars on broad pinions the lonely wild swan. Below him he hears the loud clang of the marshes, yet dare not descend their dread waters upon. As he passes high sailing, he notes in the pearl tree 2 Halians are building their beautiful dome. High up in the glittering branches they build it, that no jealous bullet may reach their bright home. True it is that riches attract the ill-wisher, and gods too resentful the high-placed must rue. Yet I, who but wander alone and deserted, can never awaken the hunter's halloo. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Waterfall by Chiu-ling. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. Comes from the red earth cliff rushing the waterfall high, sheer from the azure ether, halfway up to the sky. Under the scattered trees plunges with rack and roar, sprays like another bank of clouds to the zenith soar. There in the sunlight dances the rainbow iris form. The sky is blue, yet is heard the crash of the rain and storm. The hills in sympathy blend, their beautiful colors glow. Mingle the earth and sky and the water's hollow bow. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Carpe Oras by Shen. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. I see the flowers of this year as good as those of last. But oh, the maid of last year this year is aging fast. The maid, unlike the blossom, her youth must not renew. You failed, alas, to gather up the bloom ere it was past. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Desolation by Shen. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. Dismounting from my horse, I climbed the city's girdling wall. The town of Ye,
of old so fair, is wild and ruined all. The zephyrs blow, the corpse fires glow about each shattered hall, while dun the twilight follows on the sunset's cloudy pall. Before the southern angle stands the brazen tower of yore. The river's flow must eastward go, returning nevermore. The palace courts are waste and lone, no footfall echoes there. How sadly spring its flowers must bring to each deserted door. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. To Tu Fu by Sven San, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org. To Shen Tu Lo, as greeting a New Year verse I send, I pity him who from his home of banished age must spend. The fresh green shoots of willow I cannot bear to see. The plum tree full of blossom my very vitals rend. As prefect here in Sichuan, I have no grasp of things. With thousand fears and worries my anxious duty stings. This New Year we are distant far. I merely dream of you. But who can tell if next year another meeting brings? Like him who on the eastern hills for 30 years had slept, perchance from age my book and sword to scattered dust have crept. 2,000 piculs salary, although my dotage win. Ah, had I only, free as you, my power of roaming kept. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Recollection by Wen Ting Sun, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org. Alone upon this river tower, what gloomy thoughts my heart devour. Like waters still the moonbeams flow, the river joins the sky below. But where are they who with me came to gaze upon her lambent flame? The scene is much like last year's, yet those gone, how can my heart forget? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Sprigs of Willow, an allusion by Wang Qing-sung. Beside the hall of Hishi, by Yangcheng's city wall, the willow branches stretch their hands in mute appeal to all. Their shadows on the river with those of sails compete. Their nearer bendings brush the bank with salutations sweet. What bound the wanderer's heartstrings and bade him turn again was not the verdure of the grass all lush with vernal rain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Anchored by Night by Cheng Chi, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. The failing of the moonlight, the cawing crow awakes, and glitters all the sky above with shining frosty flakes. The maples on the river bank, the lamps the fishers bear, cast gloomy shadows through the night that vexed our rest with care. From yonder chill hill temple, by Suchow's ancient town, the sudden booming of the bell, the midnight calling down, comes with a clang that startles our shipborne comrades' ears. Imagination's pulses beat quick with shadowy fears. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Retort Courteous by Cheng Chi, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. That I am duly married, assuredly you know, and yet to me you send as gift twin pearls of mystic glow. For this your kind devotion my heart must grateful be. I hung within my red silk vest those pearls I might not show. My dwelling is a lofty one within a stately dome. My husband is a soldier who guards the emperor's home. I recognize your love as bright as shiny sun or moon, yet swear to serve my husband and never from him roam. With your bright pearls I send again twin tears as crystal clear, regretting that we had not met ere fortune placed me here. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Village Scene by Hsu Chun. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. Returning from my fishing, my skiff I left unbound. The moonlight brings sweet slumber on all the village round. Though by the wind all night pursued, my shallop cannot stray. 'Tis grounded where the rushes and shallow ripples play. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Song of the Willow Flowers by Etiain. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. Cast into life without an object born, O willow catkins by time's eddies torn. Ah, what fond tree has cast you on the air to fly with spring into my yard forlorn? At morn your carpet hides the flagstones bare, your sunlit gliding shadows wake no care. The butterflies are shrouded in your clouds, as well as those ascending heaven's stair. The river bears you to the ocean's breast, where clogging rain amid the dust has pressed. Oh, when the day of love and joy be come, may you as lightly on my bosom rest. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Falling Leaf by Etiain. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. From heaven's height a flake of shadow glides. A light leaf idly sailing downward goes, is wafted by the zephyrs of the earth. Which tree is it that first the autumn shows? Its color changed, the yellow must be nigh. The woods it left are glossy yet with green. Alone it floats upon the water clear, or alone descends upon the pass unseen. At sight of it a sadness touches me. This sereness will not end with one, I fear, so far from thee, my heart of vacant moon. Why wish to know another sorrow near? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Moon Thoughts by Chang Liang. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. Over a river by the ocean floating that flows not for the tide, the moon uprises on the water's motion with equal kingdom wide. The ocean's face is radiant with her glory, perfumed through flowery banks the river flows, and serpents with a winding desultory, by flowering woods that gleam as pure as snows, so white that ivory no outline shows, nor seen the white sand on the shore thereby. The fleckless sky meets with the stainless sea, and wheel large floats in vast eternity, the moon upon the flawless crystal sky. Who by this river first beheld her face? Whom by this river did the moon first see? Ah, many generations of his race have come and passed into infinity, while she rode lightly in immensity. I do not know for whom her beams always shine, but the river waters flow away, and one white fleck of cloud them follows too, tracing their windings with its pearly hue. Tonight who floats upon the tiny skiff? From what high tower yearns out upon the night the dear beloved in the pale moonlight? Alone, so lonely with the lonely moon, in the deep chamber where her hair she braids, and where the moon oft kissed her arms entwined. Where, oh, we parted,
Low she rolls the blind, and inward steps the moon with silent pace, or noiseless gazes on her thoughtful face, when busied in the working of her maids. To each unknown our thoughts go forth to meet. How would I ride the moonbeams to thy feet! The wild swans and the geese go sailing by, but rob not any brightness from the sky, and fishes' ripples on the water fleet. Last night when dreaming, I seemed to see that many flowers had fallen by this stream, and lo, I moaned, already spring will flee, and I can barely see thee in a dream. The waters bear away the spring, and now but scattered stars remained upon the bow. The moon is sinking to her western hall, darkened and drooping in the sea mist's pall. From thee to me I cannot tell how far, how many with the moon home wandered are, I cannot tell, but as the shadowy trees stir on the stream with sighings and lone, so sighs my soul to thee, my own, my own. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Spring in the Harem by Chung-nan. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. My husband to the wars is gone, and I a cloak for him would make, to wrap him from that rugged clime, lest bitter cold his slumbers break. But when I tried to cut the words of happy spring as omen fair, the chilling breath that winter leaves benumbed and left me helpless there. If cold am I, far colder thou, upon those desert plains and bare. Thou lookest for thy cloak, and I of sending it despair. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Whence Comes the Spring by Ho Chien. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. If thou wouldst know from whence the spring is born, it rises from the virtues of the trees. Its slow approach to willows first it tells, crossing the mountains, wakes the sleeping plum. Entering the snows, it melts their silver flowers, ungeals the ice, loosens the water's glass. At dawn it comes all holy from the east. At night to east the dipper's handle turns. Its balmy breath in vasty space renewed comes in rejoicing with a new-born song. But ere it spreads o'er its mantle green, it needs the sun to mount the tower of pride. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Neglected Beauty by Wang Changling. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. Than colors of the peony, my raiment is more fair. The breeze across the palace lake takes fragrance from my hair. My love is hidden in my breast. A fan conceals my pain. A clear moon in an autumn night. I wait my lord in vain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Leave Me Not by Meng Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. You wish to go, and yet your robe I hold. Where are you going? Tell me, dear, today. Your late returning does not anger me, but that another steal your heart away. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
An Invitation by Qing Xianqi. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. An Invitation by Qing Xianqi. As at break of daylight chirping comes the robin to my cell, as in spring the whistle-throat twitters on the eaves so blithe and shrill, so you hover, never enter, keep me waiting, waiting still. When rat-a-tat the drums awake, and sleep the city flees, I see the garden flaunting fair with new-set cherry trees. Last night a myriad blooms were born, whose tender pink the flushing dawn reflects in coloured seas. I've brought a goodly store of wine, the second moon, the spring divine. The time to fill the chalice high is come, and when we've drunken deep, will we at moonlight vigil keep. Yea, till she fade and wax again, shall you rejoicing here remain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Hope by Li Sheng Yin, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. The dawn is clear, no breath the dew to shake, and at the window I alone awake. Amidst the smiling flowers the orioles sing, if not for me, for whom this happy spring? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Spring by Chung-sur, translated by J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. The geese in lofty flight recross the Tai Lake, and in the emperor's garden all the new buds break. The year brings light to every place, if palace or if cot, but no one knows what colors yet the spring will take. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Autumn Moon by Chang Liang, translated by J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. In autumn sky high floats the silver moon. One mourner gazes on the lonely night. Her bow now bent into a crescent, soon will fan-like open to a globe of light. Such dazzling purity, how many dews have tear-like laved! With awe, what icy thrill thy shining frozen surface still embrues, the breeze that pierces with a sudden chill this summer garb of mine. Such shudders rend the heart that quivers for the distant friend. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Absence by Wei Cheng-ching, translated by J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. My eagerness chases the sun and the moon. I number the days till I reach my home. The winds of autumn, they wait not for me, but hurry on thither where I would be. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Eheu Fugaces by Wei Cheng-ching, translated by J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Mournfully, mournfully rose the long river, saddened, saddened the stranger's breast. The flowers as they fall his fate recall, as each flutters down in the earth to rest. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Biao Mu's Tomb by Liu Chang-ching, translated by J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. The hero remembered the old mother's meal. This tale that I tell happened ages ago. The tomb that he built her the fuel gatherers know. Of that dynasty only the rivers yet flow. With eyelet grown frog bite the passers adore. The goat-sucker wails on the high wooded shore. The spring makes the grasses as verdant, I feel, as when princely Han Xin passed by here of yore. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Winter Scene by Liu Chang-ching. Translated by J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Laurie Wilson. The daylight far is dawning across the purple hill, and white the houses of the poor with winter's breathing chill. The house dog's sudden barking, which hears the wicket go, greets us at night, returning through driving gale and snow. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Autumn Festival by Wang Chen. Translated by J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Laurie Wilson. The slanting moonbeams light the court. The crows roost in their bowers. Without a sound the chilly dew has wet the acacia flowers. Upon the moon to-night so clear all human eyes must gaze. But what fond breast will ponder on the coming autumn days? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Ancient Palace by Wang Chien. Translated by J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Laurie Wilson. The ancient palace lies in desolation spread. The very garden flowers in solitude grow red. Only some withered dames with whitened hair remain, who sit there idly talking of mystic monarchs dead. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. She's Washing Stone by Lu Ying. Translated by J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Laurie Wilson. When Hsi steeped her yarn beside the purling brook, like mosses on her washing stone, men's hearts with yearning shook. But since she went to Ku-su, and thence returned no more, for whom do peach and plum trees bloom along the vernal shore? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Peach Flower Cave by Chang-su. Translated by J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Laurie Wilson. We caught mid the wreathing mists a glimpse of the spanning bridge, and asked of the fishing boats by the jetty's western ridge. The peach flowers float, they said, all day down the gushing stream. By the clear torrent's side is the peach flower cave, we deem. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Disappointment by Hsu Chun. Translated by J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Laurie Wilson. From the sea the swallow, flying to his nest, sees the silver sunlight sloping to the west. Homes of the five nobles, noting from afar where the gates of refuge ought to stand ajar. But those halls are barred and fast. No footstep enters there. The eastern wind has overcast the bloom it brought to bear. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Felix Puer by Tsui Kuo-fu. Translated by J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Laurie Wilson. The golden steps. I had swept so clean. The frost I brushed away was white as snow. He came not. To my room I, entering, the curtains drew, and touched the lute's sweet string. To see the autumn moon were double woe. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Tower by Yang Shingo. Translated by J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Laurie Wilson. The wai trees, nodding blossoms, the city girdle round. The night rain from the hills has brought the river's bubbling sound. In autumn's gale from sheltered ways each horse and cart has fled. Alone on this high tower I feel the ghosts of nations dead. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Anchored at Night by Tu Mu. Translated by J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. The mist half hides the water chill. The moonlit sand gleamed dim. At night we anchored on the Hwai beside a hostel trim. The singing girls know nothing of a fallen nation's shame. Their lay of love amidst the flowers across the river came. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Regrets by Chou, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. Regrets by Chou. Upon the river tower alone, how sorrowful am I. The moonbeams join the water meets the sky. All those who came this moon to view, ah, whither are they gone? This scene appears to me like one of ages long gone by. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Brazen Tower by Lu Ting-chi. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. The brazen tower looks down upon the lone abandoned grave. The dust of Sau's hair reposes by the river's wave. Towards this sunset gazing their glory we deplore. A dream of their sweet dancing girls, fond memory haunts us more. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Your Garden Flower, a Serenade by Wang Piao. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. How early to your garden comes the spring! How all your woods are filled with flowers fair! Like guards they smile upon their mistress dear, and sweetly stoop to brush my lady's hair. The earth is happy in your near abode. Your bounteous heaven scatters rain and dew. The butterflies come thronging to your light, and birds at evening wake from dreams of you. I inly feel your sun my heart has sought, and yearn amid your lofty clouds to soar. What other place appears not dark beside the peach and plum trees leading to your door? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. An Autumn Night by Chien Chi. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. The Milky Way is shining as bright as purling frost. The water lily's fragrance in northern winds is lost. Beside a lonely lamp she weaves, and hides her love away. Her tears she wipes to note how slow the clock drips out the day. The moonlit clouds are floating like mist before the eaves. The wild goose flaps as cawing the crow his roosting leaves. Ah, what young wife is working a lovebird on her loom? An inlaid silken screen concealed her inner sleeping room. Beside the lucent window she hears the falling leaves. Alas for her whose solitude a lover's absence grieves. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Moon Dream by Ko Shi. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Cool rides the moon in night's clear space. My floating skiff is aimless still, Dream lost in wastes of waves and wind, with autumn I reclothe the hill. That autumn trembles to the fall, makes grief the wanderer's bosom thrill. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
None Shall Be Alone in His Appointed Times by Chi, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. In glory kings have flourished here, and wise men came to view their state. Behold the vista of the years, a ruined tower recalls their fate. Throughout all space the winds of woe, the ripened grass lay desolate. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Rustic Felicity by Chu Kuang the First, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. My little farm 50 of silk trees grows, and acres 5 of grain in ordered rows. Thus having food and clothing and to spare, my bounty often with my friends I share. This summer brings the Kuang-i rice so fine, chrysanthemums in autumn spice the wine. My jolly spouse is glad my friends to see, and my young son obeys me readily. At eve I dawdle in the garden fair, with elms and willows shaded everywhere, when, wine elated, night forbids me stay. Through door and window grateful breezes play. Bright shoal and plain I see the Milky Way, and high and low the bear o'er heaven sway. As yet intact some bottles bear their seal, and shall tomorrow their contents reveal. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Amazon Corp by Wu P. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. A training scheme a stranger brought, which used would make you lord of Wu. The general was a lovely maid, her helm all gold and jewels inlaid. As she the marshal's baton swayed, and told them what to do, her soldiers all were ladies fair, and as they turned them round, like wind and rain about their waist, their jewelry rattled, when in haste to sound of drum the army raced, like snowy petals o'er the ground. The powder flew, and purling dew ran down in rivers rare. They wish to laugh, but do not dare, lest they should lose their heads. You say that this is but a dream, but if this Sun Tze's clever scheme were used again today, I deem we'd sleep safe in our beds. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Pearl Memoriam by Yuan, translated by W. J. B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. The Pearl Memoriam by Yuan. To turn us back to natural purity is, after all, the highest state, and for this cause the pearl was thrown away, an offering to fate, for it had lost its purity to serve as mere ornament to a prince's car, and when it plunged again within the gulf, such use no more could mar. Had not a fairy serpent spat it forth, what hope it could regain its element? Its sunlight sank where western deeps reflect the starry firmament. So far it went, not all its force its own. Who covets never can with such compare. To honour frugal virtue would you learn, grasp wisdom's jewels rare. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Waters of E by Lo Ping Wang. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. The Waters of E by Lo Ping Wang. From this spot the prince rose and fled. The hair on the assassin's head raised his hat. Though the ancients are dead, still chill flows the water with dread. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Content by Ho Chien. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. Content by Ho Chien. The Lord of all to us is all unknown, and yet these woods and springs must some one own. Let us not murmur if our wine we buy, in our own purse have we sufficiency. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Fisherman by Liao-Chiang-yuan. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. The Fisherman by Liao-Chiang-yuan. Amid the western hills there slept an aged fisherman. At dawn he lit a bamboo fire, true river water wan. And as the mist clouds rolled away, the light showed no one there. The mountain torrents flowed in green, his whip was free from care. One glance around the sky he gave, pushed off to middle stream. The mystic caves retain him not, the clouds his pilot seem. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Debauch by Wang. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. The Debauch by Wang. Fill up this day the sorrow-drugging bowl. What matter though we drown the brighter soul? With wine o'ercome when all our fellows be, can I alone sit in sobriety? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Beauty in Disgrace by Changling. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. Beauty in Disgrace by Changling. At dawn I swept my room, and see the palace gates set wide. A fan neglected to and fro I waft from side to side. The night-chilled crow is lovelier than I once held so fair. His face reflects the glory of the sun that rises there. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Longing by Ling. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. Longing by Ling. Within the western quarter upon this lofty tower, the beacon fire lies ready against the fated hour. Across the yellow twilight upon its sea breeze wings, the stir of coming autumn its melancholy brings. Above the pass and o'er the hills the lonely moon is bright, and thrills to hear my homesick flute cry wailing through the night. The thought of our sweet chamber, the longing and the smiles, why should they come to vex me across so many miles? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Pains of Love by Chi. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. The Pains of Love by Chi. The yellow willow waves above, the grass is green below. The peach and pear tree blossoms in massed fragrance grow. The east wind does not bear away the sorrow at my heart. Spring's growing days but lengthen out my still increasing woe. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Fallen Garden by Chi. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. The Fallen Garden by Chi. About the garden flies at dusk an aimless crow or two. A house or two are scattered round as far as I can view. The trees, not knowing all have gone, that they alone are left, their flowers with returning spring as formerly renew. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Parting by Chang Liang, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. Parting by Chang Liang. Bright blow the flowers, the willow weeps beside the river clear. Within the grove a wing is stirred by zephyrs breathing near. If on this bank, amid such scenes, fond sorrow fills my heart, what grief must murder all my breast on yonder shore to part? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Hall of Silence by Chang Liang, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. The Hall of Silence by Chang Liang. Where the sun's eye first peers above the pines, on the ancient temple early daylight shines. To retirement guiding leads the winding way. Round the cell of silence flowers and foliage stray. Hark, the birds rejoicing in the mountain light, like one's dim reflection on a pool at night. Lo, the heart is melted, wavering out of sight. All is hushed to silence, harmony is still. The bell's low chime alone whispers round the hill. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
In Mongolia by Wang Chi-huang, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. The yellow river rises far from fleecy cloudland tossed, mid peaks so high our tiny town to sight is almost lost. Why need my mongrel flute bewail the elm and willow mist? Beyond the Yumen Pass, the breath of spring has never crossed. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Flute That Wails by Night by Li, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Below the Huilo Peak the sand shines clear and white as snow. Around Su Chang City like frost the moonbeams flow. Who blows yon wailing reedy flute? Who echo shrills my ear, and tunes the warrior's heart all night to dream of home so dear? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Yang Kui Fei in Disgrace by Li, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. With freshened dew the flowers are damp in springtide's fragrant bowers. In Chou Yang court the sound of songs disturbs the moonlit hours. As slow as if it held the sea drips on the water clock, its tedious dripping seems to me the long-drawn night to mock. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Dullness of the Harem by Hsu Ma-li, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. The willows interlacing the gilded mansion hide. At dawn the oriole sorrow trills through all the palace wide. The flowers from year to year that fall, what mortal eye can view, still carried with their spring away upon the moat's dull tide. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Ruined City by Louis Yu Hui. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org. By hills enclosed, surrounded by its ancient country fair, revealing when the tide recedes its desolation bare, the moon that o'er the river Hui climbs up the eastern tower still comes to overpeer its wall in midnight's lonely hour. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Tempest E. Dax by Liu Yu C. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Beside the bridge of Chu-yo, wild flowers and grasses grow. Along the ancient pathway the evening sunbeams flow. The swallows that once circled round the halls of lordly pride now twitter round the humble homes these later ages know. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Wind of Autumn by Liu Hui. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. The autumn wind from whence is hither born? The geese in flocks it hisses forth in scorn. At dawn our garden trees before it fall. The lonely wanderer hears it first of all. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Stork Tower by Wang Chi-hung. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Round the day-hiding hill the sunbeams pour. The sun of sorrows melts into the sea. But would we wish the farthest verge to see? There still is left to mount one story more. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Desire by Li Tuan. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. The blinds I raised, with joy the new moon saw. The steps descended, eager to adore. My whispered prayer might not be heard of men. The north wind's fingers at my girdle tore. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Snow on Chung-nan Hills by Hsu Chun. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Dawn-shaded peaks of Chung-nan Hills their lovely forms display. Their mass of snow amidst the clouds seems floating far away. The woods stand out against the sky in colors clear and bright, yet stretching o'er the city mourn the chilly hands of night. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Sue's Pleasance by Hsu Chun. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. To this retired pleasance, when I rove, the wish for solitude in me upwells. Before the portals high, yon mountain swells, the placid lea reflects the garden's grove. Last winter's snow the bamboo brakes retain. Dark glooms the court ere shades of evening fall. I sit alone to hear the birds that call. Beyond the pale of men the spring again. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Tian Chu Temple by Tao Han. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Sophia Solaris. With tangled firs and pines the cave is hid. Around the western hill a pathway creeps. One lofty crag is outlined on the sky. The temple towers are hung in airy deeps. On dawn-flushed cliff reclines the Buddha's home. Mid-mast rocks high balconies appear. To birds and monkeys night lone silence brings. The bell's deep booming chills the clouds with fear. The peak's green shadow tints the lake-born moon. The gorge wind's song the torrent's music mars. My soul expands above the realms of air, and hangs suspended with eternal stars. The morrow's dawn yet other prospect brings. I wake to see the eastern bounds long drawn. Waves stir the oily surface of the lake, as o'er pale seas the darkness glows to morn. The old immortals' traces still are here. To us lies clear the pathway they impressed. And as my soul harks back to ages gone, I, darkly groping, feel them in my breast. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Maid I Met on Kui-yang Bridge by Sun Chi-wen. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. 'Twas dawn and the sprays from the river and mist had enmoistened the air. The flowers and the willows of springtime by the bridge breathe their essences rare. On a white horse with clear golden saddle came riding a beauty so fair. Of the daughters of Chun must she be. Such grace can come only from there. The locks that her mirror reflecteth, her envious handmaids adore, that caress to her babe my too tender heart swayed. She passed, I shall see her no more. The passions of dissolute loving, my true heart has never obeyed. Yet I sigh in my cold lonely chamber, when I think of that beautiful maid. I sigh in my desolate chamber, and dream of that beautiful maid. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Huang Ho Lu by Sui Hao. Translated by W.J.B. Fletcher. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. The sage of old has flown away upon a yellow crane, and left its tower alone to mark where mortals saw him last. The yellow crane once flown away, it never comes again. Long years have passed, yet white and ghast the empty clouds remain. Mid winding groves of Hangyang's trees, the stream pellucid flows. On Pereunt Isle the fragrant grass in wild luxuriance grows. My village from my gazes the dying sunbeams part. The river hid the mist amid Call's shadows o'er my heart. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Hills of Spring by Liang, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. The Hills of Spring by Liang. The hills of spring, so many pleasures dight, that pure enjoyment leaves me here oblivious of night. Within the water that my hands scoop up, the moon embowers, and all my clothes are fragrant with the heavy scent of flowers. Although the mood urges me, still verseless I remain. I wish to go, but I quit this scented scene with pain. To see from whence the bell's sweet chime, I southward gaze, and lo, the bell tower hidden deeply in new verdant sea below. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Autumn Scene from Yoyang Tower by Chang Chun, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Sophia Solaris. The crows are flocking homeward, all chilled in twilight's close. Upon the autumn gale, the geese their passage wing away. Across the tinted waters there floats the orb of day, and flickers on the river the sunset's hazy ray. With autumn flowers of madder the whitened islets sway. Through scanty leaves all red the rich persimmon glows. How flat and damp Changsha this temperature shows, where yet October's air is braved with summer clothes. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Ruin by Han Wu, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Chad Horner. A Ruin by Han Wu. Upon the yard looks in the placid moon, down float the petals of the wild pear trees. I gaze adown the vacant steps alone, the swing sways with the motion of the breeze. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Lover's Dream by Anonymous, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org. Oh, drive the golden orioles from off our garden tree. Their warbling broke the dream wherein my lover smiled to me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Lenore by author unknown, translated by W.J.B. Fletcher, read for LibriVox.org by Kevin S. The cocks crow all together. The air is full of frost. I see your sword and bundle on either shoulder tossed. Like jackals and little tigers they chase you from the town. Before our speech is ended the white dust settles down. In loneliness and sorrow our village sees me lie. My life for you I keep alive, yet easier far to die. Your child beside the pillow with baby wailings cries. Though much I would prefer to die, yet here my duty lies. My ornaments and silken robes all now I lay adown, and bid our ancient neighbor go sell them in the town. But in your journeys vex you not for those thus left behind. I sooner were in pieces torn than change my loving mind. But if you live, your duty do in yon wild Tizidam snows. And if you die and Hades dim your peaceful eyelids close, wait but till 19 autumns past. Our child to manhood grown has left his school to wander forth to win his bread alone. Then like the dewdrop on the bough, I cannot long remain While your dark locks are turned to white upon your desert plain. The dawn breaks on our city, the horns of gathering cry, The misty moon is dimly seen amid the murky sky. Amidst the chilly gloom a lamp in lonely darkness gleams. The cricket chirrups by the door, some spirit present seems. A rank and sudden smell of gore rises on every side. I shriek to see a dreadful ghost. Ah, what may this betide? Its hands hold forth a hollow skull, as there it standeth grim, Defiled with dust and bloody stains, it loometh vaguely dim. Come in before me, indeed I do not dread. And thou indeed my husband art, what proof to prove the dead? In sudden gust of darkling wind his blood-stained garments sway. Alas, that garment clothed you, love, what time you went away. I know you are here, why come you so late? In gloom the lamp fails, the rope from the beam hangs quivering and straight. In my eyes is the gleam, in my ears is the roar Of the breakers that burst on a long sandy shore. When came you in, love? Oh, how flew you here? My spirit now comes, love, I follow anear, Your white bones to view in that desert so drear. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. End of Gems of Chinese Verse by Various. Translated by W. J. B. Fletcher.